Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Now, read by Disney, or Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. Today I have for you issues 37 to 40 in the Legacy Comics. We already did issue 41 last time because that's just kind of where the collection put it, so that's where I read it. After this video, I think what I'm just going to do is do 42 to 50, finish off the Legacy Comics, and then the next video after that would be Legacy War. All issues in one video. So, but, what can I say non-spoiler wise? Overall, Tatooine. This whole sort of section takes place on Tatooine. But for issues 37, we have our heroes, Cade, Sin, Delilah. They show up on Tatooine because their ship is broken down. Morgan Cord, Cade's mother, and Cade's half-sister also travel to Tatooine for a mission, and there are bounty hunters coming after Cade, who also are showing up to that planet. Black Sun, who, just like the Empire, is seemingly unable to die. The Black Sun was a part of the prequel era stuff. They were around at that time. They were around for the original trilogy. They are around after the original trilogy, and they just seem to always be a constant criminal gang that takes on different forms and such, but never can die. So that is some of the things that are being brought up here. Issue 38 is basically just an attack in the desert. That's all I can say, really, non-spoiler. There's other stuff going on and stuff that we'll get to in spoilers, but overall, that is the premise for issue 38. Issue 39 is the it's another fantastic Cade and Luke scene, which we'll get into in spoilers. I mean, there's other stuff going on in that comic, but that's the significant portion of it, so that's all I'll say, though, to that. Issue 40 is the chapter end to sort of the stories we've been reading about thus far, and also the end to this whole, sort of on Tatooine section. And so it wraps up the story with the bounty hunters. Cade, Delilah, Sin leave again to go off wherever else they're going to go off. And Darth Warlock continues his scheme to further unify the galaxy. And that is pretty much it for non-spoilers. These issues in particularly, I think all of them are absolutely fantastic. There's not a single one that I didn't enjoy. I have absolutely no complaint with these issues. We'll see how I'll give you my thoughts on this, because Legacy War is technically separate, but it's connected to this. But I'll give my overall thoughts on the comics as a whole once I finish all the issues. But these issues, the few that I'm reviewing, were really, really good. I'm getting to spoilers now. If you don't want spoilers, if you haven't read these issues yet, it's time for you to skedaddle. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, then go on and stick around. But that's what we're going to get into. Not too much, but... So, what I like is how everything kind of works together to bring everybody here, because Cade's mom is sending herself as Morgan Cord and her daughter to Tatooine. And it's like George Lucas said, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Here you have, he knows that his mother is still alive now, but he never really knew his mother, so it doesn't mean anything to him. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Luke, not really knowing his father. But Luke also had a sister who he didn't know about for the longest time, but they were fully brother and sister. Cade's sister is only a half-sister, but still he has no idea about her, which is crazy. We got assassins, and guess what? They're in Zadi. Though they look, at least the female looks attractive, because of course it's a comic book, so every woman looks attractive. But even with that attractiveness, the things still pop out of their face, and they're still the most disgusting thing. I'll take the Vong over ever having to see the frickin' Inzati stick their tendril things up people's noses, up into their brain. It's the worst. But they are there to go attack our heroes. Issue 38. Yage, who is Cade's half-sister, gets Cade, but the bounty hunters in the wastes come after them. So they get attacked, but they make it out of there, of course. But there's just an action scene that kind of happens then. Of course, the Inzati are purposely missing because they would prefer not to just kill Cade and her right off the bat. They would prefer to suck their juices, their soup, because they're Inzati and they're awful. I really like the Imperial mission. It really shows the wonderfulness that the Empire could be in the right hands. Because there's this whole thing called the Imperial mission, where they kind of just like a charity. They just give to the people in need. And it's just a really nice thing. And just think about, like, I don't know, like any charity organization. It's just really cool what they're doing. Grand Admiral Veed becomes regent because Warlock has different plans from Crate, and this is what he wants to do with his Sith Order. He wants to basically have Reed be a figurehead, or Veed, sorry, not Reed, but he doesn't actually have any power over the Sith. He's just going to be a face. And then we get to issue 39. Cade and Yage have a confrontation about the past, about Ossus. That was a really good scene. It's obvious, how much trauma that Cade endured from that, and so it was a nice discussion that they had. The best part of this issue by far was the Luke and Cade discussion. Now, Cade is dreaming, having a Force vision. We see Luke, but not Grand Master Luke that we saw earlier. We see Farm Boy. The boy that we got introduced to in the very first Star Wars movie ever. The Farm Boy. Of course, this is just Luke with all of his knowledge. I believe it's just him as a Force ghost, but the vision surrounding it. He's in his old, farmer's white clothes, talking to him about stuff. Eventually, it switches to showing, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen being burned alive. Then you cut back, and now Luke has his signature black outfit from episode 6. And he continues to talk. Cade gets upset, they have a fight. Luke continues to talk. And he's like, you need to stop living in the past. You need to decide what you want to be and what you're going to do. So, just that whole sequence was really, really fantastic, and I really enjoyed seeing it. There's a battle that starts in this issue, but will not end until the next issue. It ends abruptly so that you will read issue 40, which is where the battle between that weird third guy that I didn't mention because he's not that important, but there's a third assassin that's with them who's being uncooperative. Morgan Cord fights him along with Sin. And then Yage and Cade go up against the two Inzati. Cade kills the male, who is they're kind of lovers and or husband and wife, the two Inzati. And so he dies, and they take the Inzati woman with them so they can go find the Black Sun leader and talk to him. And Cade makes a deal with the guy, but Morgan Cord shoots him. And that really pisses off Cade. But then he calms down, and him and Cord have a very small discussion about the evilness of her leaving them. Though she says, he says, I don't really care that you weren't around. I just want to know, did you know about what was going to happen on Ossus and all that? And that discussion was really good. Now we leave off with our heroes yet again leaving, and I still have no idea exactly where the series is going. Obviously, Darth Crate is not dead. He will return, And so that'll be interesting to see if he gets revenge on Wirelock. I still don't know what's going to happen with Cade. He's definitely the most unique Skywalker I've ever seen, and I'm not sure where he'll go. I don't know if he'll fully embrace the Jedi legacy, or if he'll do what's right, but ultimately go his own way at the end. I'm not sure how this will all end, but I'm looking forward to what we'll see of that. So that is the end of this video. And up next, we'll have the finale to Legacy Comics. Not Legacy War, that's not counting that, that'll be a separate video. But issues 42 to 50 will be the finale to the Legacy Comics. I hope you'll stick around for my thoughts on that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Sharing helps out a ton. And please subscribe so you can see me experience more of the expanding universe. I'm getting pretty close to the end of the timeline, but there's still so much that I've missed. And I hope you'll join me to experience all of that for the first time. Because if there's one thing I've always enjoyed about YouTube, it's, even though I've enjoyed something several thousand times or whatever, it's nice to, like with a video game or a book or a movie, it's nice to see other people, especially when it's their first time, experience it for the first time. So maybe you can get a similar experience from me. I don't know. But if you've already read these. If you haven't read these, please read these. Why are you watching this if you haven't read it yet? Though if you're getting individual issues, I guess that makes sense. But seriously, read this entire series. It's well worth your time. Anyway, that'll be all for me today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.